platform, and the other one will be called Assist MCP. So before I start it, I would like to get an overview of you guys' understanding on Google Maps platform. So raise your hand if you have ever programmed with Google Maps platform, be it JavaScript, be it web services, iOS, and you raise your hand. Okay, good. So maybe I should better off start with updates and then code assist. So I really hope that the code assist MCP would help or ease you guys using Google Maps. So let's start with the updates. So the first thing is we have so many updates in Google Maps platform every year. There is a Google Maps platform capabilities explorer. You can consider that as like an index or like a yellow page. So you literally just search and try to get a sense of what's the capability there. So there's link, go check out. Right now we have 35 products across 4 platforms. Of course, there are a lot of different capabilities. Even for geocoding, there are web servers and JavaScript. So like there are different capabilities, products, and platforms. So if you are very curious, like what can be done or what cannot be done, or what's in development, you may want to check out the Google Maps Platform Capabilities Explorer. So there are a few features that are receiving updates. So since I missed a slide here. Oh yeah. So I wanted to. Okay, no worries, that's fine. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the different launch stages. So you guys probably see experimental, preview, and general availability. Of course, there are fabricated and decommissioned. So this is the different stages of Google Maps platform features. So whenever there's some experimental and preview, that means they are not covered by the SLA, but you can get a taste of like, what's going to come. And GA products usually means general available, but sometimes it may not be available for all markets. Like the solar API is not available markets outside of Australia, outside of the States. So there are some country or market specific APIs. So just to make sure that you guys understand. Well, okay, then get back to the customizing styles for map types and modes in preview. So the idea of the map styling have been here for long, which allow the users to, you as developers to change the map styles and even switch styles instantly at runtime. So there is no map reloads between different map styles. So it also helps you because you can use just one map style for different platforms. So you do not necessarily to redo the whole thing again and again for like web and for like iOS and mobile SDK. So it actually gives you a lot of ease when rolling out your maps in different platforms. The other one is grounding with Google Maps in Vertex AI is now generally available. So you can access the factual information over 250 million places. So now with the open timeline models running it, so you can use the most trusted data, which is the Google Maps data. So it allows you to really kind of like fact check what's available and what's true and what's not true. So it allows you to create accurate, complete, and personalized AI experience because it is very tailor-made and it is custom-made for every single use. And you also allow you to provide access to specific queries about a place. And of course, it is very unique experience across industries. So if you're targeting the travel industry, targeting the logistics industry, the transport industry, they are all very different. And last but not least, it allows you to build with confidence on a unified platform. So integrate this feature seamlessly with your Vertex AI workflows. The other one is the places insights in BigQuery. So now it's generally available. So you probably can test it in the production environment. So you can now securely analyze and generate places data with SQL in BigQuery. So with your own instance, not to share with all other people. So allow this to make like more informed decision like site selection, answering more complex questions, location-based questions in your workflow. So this is also something really, really cool. The other one is the maps customization. So you allow the contextual styling. So in the screen, I'm not sure if it's too small, but you can see there's a light mode and a dark mode. So it allows you to switch between light mode and dark mode with your own styling. So in the Google Maps consumer product in the web app, it allows you to switch between terrain, transport, and all these different types of maps. Not necessarily the satellite image or the aerial image or the aerial photo, but instead I'm talking about the transit, the transport, and the terrain map style. So you can actually centralize this styling. So it would apply to all different map types. So which allows you to use the maps and make the same experience across different platforms. And also the weather API. This is one of the features that may not necessarily available to all the markets, but of course, well, I'm not particularly sure whether you wanted to use a Google Maps weather API just because you wanted to provide weather information, but of course, it is available for your use. So it allows some kind of optimized logistics. So the business that depends on the delivery schedules can check the weather and try to decide if there will be interruptions on the delivery schedule because of the different weather. And the same, it allows you to enhance customer communications. So that if you're running a travel agency, you can proactively inform customers about the current conditions and let them know that if they have to make any changes or maybe bring an extra umbrella just to play safe. But last but not least, of course, like the ride-hailing companies or like on-demand logistics platform, which allows them to scale the drivers' availability based on some real-time decisions. So you may want to tell the drivers that you may want to go to a certain districts because there will be more orders around that area. And then one of the many pain points back then is how do we have the right address? So you can see in this address, there's a typo in the code and also the street and the road. In Hong Kong, it is also pretty common that not necessarily people would understand in English that it is street or road. So the ability for the validation to be available allows the user to double check, hey, whether I mistyped the road as street or I mistyped postal code. So of course, there are you may argue that, hey, I would have used the autocomplete. Why would there be the typo in the address? But the reality is, you may not necessarily be the one who collect the data, the address information. It could be collected by some upstream application. So at the time you receive this kind of address, it can be kind of dirty. So this allows you to kind of make changes on validated address before it goes to the downstream flow or the rest of your journey. The other one is Place UI Kit. It is available in JavaScript, Android, and iOS. So which is the thing that I just mentioned, the autocomplete, the place search, and place details. Of course, if you are building something else, you can definitely use the web service, but I'm just generally saying that this is UI Kit would save you some time and effort if you are not like styling it in a very detailed and precise manner. If you're just using it at a high level and don't bother by all these styling or designs, so just go with the Place UI Kit. It will save you tons of time. And the routes API in the Maps JavaScript is now in a restricted preview. So right now it allows you to have the real-time traffic point lines, walking routes, dark mode styling, etc. Back then we just provide the driving directions. Of course, back then when I worked with some other customers in my previous job, they always ask me why would that route available in Google Maps but not available in Google Maps platform. So now the Google Maps platform as an API product or as a developer product now supports different types of routes. So if you're new, if you have some experience to the Google Maps platform and the Google Maps API back then, you probably know or aware of that there's a rebranding of the routes API. So it is now an aggregation of the previously known as directions API and the distance matrix API. So right now here, it allows you to do the multimodal segment or multiple waypoints, which should come with a more handy and support a lot more use cases than before. And also, the other changes that you may see in the consumer app also available in the developer product is there is a relationship between the destinations right now. So assuming that you go to the a mall, then you put the address of the mall there, and then you ask it will ask you if you go to a mall. And then if you put the shop address instead of the mall address, it will say that, hey, this particular POI, point of interest, is located in that particular mall. So it allows the so-called destination API. So it provides you that the enclosing concept. So that shop is located within the mall. So it has that kind of capability. Back then, every place, every POI on the Google Maps platform are deemed equal. So they do not yet have the concept of some POIs are within the other POI. So if you do actually use Google Maps Maker or the report maps problem in the Google Maps web app or the mobile app, it will ask you, hey, if you change an POI, it will ask, does this shop or does this place reside in another physical locations? So that's the idea of the destination API. So now it is unrestricted experimental. So you can see here is you can see that these the dots are quite mindfully located across the area, but they're still within the same destination. So that's the first bit of the Google Maps update. There are a lot of small updates in Google Maps platform, but definitely with the AI being more generally available and with the MCP almost launched a year ago, and Anthropic, I think the idea or the use of MCP is widely available. Of course, it is loved by all these developers. So I'm also taking this time to share some updates about Google Maps platform effort in doing the code assist in MCP. So let's start with the background. So I will show you a short video and see what's been the path of Google Maps throughout these years. Okay, so impressive, right? So this year actually marks the 20th anniversary of Google Maps. So I still remember back then when I did my degree, I used the Google Maps API. So Google Maps API or Google Maps platform first launched in 2009, which is like 4 years after the Google Maps platform, Google Maps as a product. So let's see how we can use Google Maps with the MCP. So what actually takes Google Maps to be the world-class maps? Of course, we are doing it at a global scale. Business and places covered globally right now reaches 250 million plus of the places globally. We have 80 million kilometers of the roads mapped globally. And of course, we have more than 100 million plus business and places that have accessibility attributes. So when accessibility attributes, we mean like how do we be able to get that place, or the state allowed like a wheelchair or things like that. So it actually goes beyond just an information provider. And not sure if many of you in the room are stuck in paper maps back then, but I mean nowadays no one actually bring paper maps out. Or if you drive, I mean if you have a car, they keep saying that there's a map pocket. I think sooner or later, people would ask like why the back of the passenger seat have a pocket called map pocket, because back then it was just literally a map book put in that pocket, so that's why it's called map pocket. But I mean that's the joke for the oldies, okay? But for now, like we know that the maps are so readily available and accessible with the mobile phones, so definitely we wanted to see what can it be done with the MCP. So the context is we kind of coding with Gemini, CLI, Cloud Mode, Cursor, Copilot. I mean, your agent do not necessarily understand the latest features of React, Gen AI, SDK, or maybe even for Google Map Platform. So tools like Google Search are helpful, but of course, who guys doesn't know that if you search on Google, most of the time you land on the Stack Overflow, right? So of course, now we seldom go to Stack Overflow, but still the idea is like, will you be able to get your AI or the assistants to read the most updated information from Google Maps Platform so that you can make the most out of it? So how do we solve this? Then we enter the GMP code assist. So it allows you to do the things quickly. So as I said, not necessarily all developers read the documentations. LL have snapshots of data, and just wanted to make sure that we help boost your productivity. So the benefits of using the GMP code assist. So developers are increasingly using AI, the so-called wipe coding. Wipe coding is everywhere. I saw tons of LinkedIn posts, wipe coding everywhere. So imagine that you are a developer trying to write some code. How can you be benefit of the things that Google Maps Platform has built for the code assist? So we also to provide kind of like a plugin as like a Chrome browser plugin, if I have to put that analogy, so that you can use it with ease. So let's see. So the core concept, what is MCP? MCP means Model Context Protocol. Like, I'm not going to go to detail what is MCP, but as I just mentioned, just consider that as a Chrome extension analogy. It can be used with any LLM. It's just a protocol. A protocol means like an agreement or a contractual framework to allow discussion or communications between two or more than two modules. So most IDEs should have support and have an AI agents ready by today. So it allows also you to connect to different MCP servers. So one MCP clients can be connected to multiple MCP servers, and IDEs also support multiple MCP clients. So that means that you can use your own MCP clients of choice and use your own MCP servers of choice. So this is an example MCP setup. So you can see, let me see. Sorry. Oh, okay. I have to go here. Okay. So you can see there's an IDE on the left-hand side. So you kind of connected to the two MCP client, which is in the pink. And then you have the two LLM, one like maybe the Gemini, and other one is the ChatGPT. And there's a kind of transport layer separated between or merge the connection between the MCP servers. So you have different MCP servers. So this IDE can be Android Studio, can be VS Code or other NDE of your choice. So IDE can export can install the MCP clients, and MCP clients connected to multiple LLMs, and that which you can configure. So this is the kind of the example MCP setup. Okay. So for Code Assist, what is it actually does? So actually you can consider the Google Maps platform MCP as one of those MCP server. So how the Code Assist fits in exactly fits, it is an MCP server that available to any MCP client, IDE or LLM. You can have access to fresh information about Google Maps platform. So those information may not necessarily be available via the vanilla LLMs, right? Because we keep updating. We have different launch schedule like experimental GA and stuff. So if you do use the Google Maps platform Code Assist, then probably you will get the latest information without getting deceived or without getting hallucinated. So what's inside an MCP server? So there's a transport layer and there's a data layer. So the transport layer, which allows standard I/O, run locally or the streamable HTTP. So you can host your MCP server in a cloud environment like Google Cloud Run. So this defines how communications happens with the MCP clients. So another one is the data layer, which defines the primitives to be called by the MCP client, which when it receives the prompts from the user, which is you as the user. So most MCP server will implement the tools. This tool can perform any actions. So it will call the backend service, endpoints, run logics provided by the MCP client with the information provided. And of course, these resources also can be used to provide information for the user context of a given prompt. So it has the context in mind, and also it takes prompts as shortcuts like user prompts that will trigger actions in the MCP server, like we could have an API key prompt, which asks you to give the API key. So it's just a shorthand of you doing the coding after all. So you still need to you still need to provide the Google Maps API key. So that's the idea. So an important thing is that the description you put in the MCP server is very important for the MCP client to understand when to call each of the primitives. So developers typically have multiple MCP servers installed. So it is important to have clear description of those MCP clients that understands well, and that give a given prompt will call a certain MCP server, but not another. You definitely do not want some maps request to call to a non Google Maps platform Code Assist or MCP server. So make sure that you route them wisely or route them correctly. So here comes the Code Assist MCP. So this is a very quick idea of the MCP server. So who has used the MCP server? Can you raise your hand? No one in the room. Okay, never mind. Actually, this recording is pretty quick, but the idea is just like you type a few words. It already helped you to set up the entire coding environment and the information you needed. So it saves your time of getting the details of the code itself. So kind of you having an assistance here. Sorry, so then I just mentioned that it supports a standard I/O and a streamable HTTP, and also the retrieve instructions on the Maps platform document. So this will call an RAG engine. So about Google Maps documentation. So it is up to date because it keeps calling the most updated version, and GitHub code examples and Trust Center articles of many other pages related to Google Maps platform. So if you think if you have read whoever actually read the Google Maps platform documentation? No one. No one read it. Okay, fine. One. Okay, good. So if you have never read it, so it's fine. What I'm trying to say is that these would allow the computer to read retrieve the. Sorry. Oh, okay. So retrieve the most updated information readily available and some trusted articles like the Google Maps platform blog and whatsoever. So this is just a very quick code snippet of the MCP client. So I'm not going through in the details here, but yeah, of course you can feel free to take a picture if you want to. So the idea is very straightforward, like search Google Maps platform documentation, code samples, GitHub repository. So it's very straightforward and very intuitive. So yeah, the RA engine. So this is a live demo, which I just showed you. So you can see the API, sorry for the recording, but basically it just allows you to get the idea of how quick it could be or how friendly it is. So the Code Assist Toolkit is available in the GitHub. So please do go and check it out. So take a picture of this one. Okay. Oh, good. Okay. So then you also can find your MCP client from the list. So most configurations are more or less the same. So don't worry about that. And last but not least, I'm giving you those resources. So this is the general idea of what the resources you should be looking at. Of course, there are some courses provided by Google, so you can also have a taste of what's going on and what can you do with the Google Maps platform. So stay connected with the Google Maps platform. There are some open source examples, some YouTube channels and things, and like Stack Overflow, and you can of course log the bugs in the bug report. So yes, that's it. I really feel like I'm sharing a lot of content in a very brutal way, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to throw me any questions, and thanks for your attention today. Thank you. Yeah, any questions? Yeah.